It's the Joint Force on AFN, and today we are joined by Colonel Pat Dagon. He's a District Commander for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Europe District, and Ms. Jen Regel. She's a Regional Program Manager for the U.S. Air Force Military Design and Construction Program for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Europe District, and it is, in fact, Engineer Week. So, ma'am, I'm curious what sort of jobs there are in engineering and what job you have.
Sure. Currently, I work for the Corps of Engineers as a program manager for military design and construction projects at Air Force bases here in Europe. It's a pretty interesting and international position. By education and training, I am a structural engineer, which means I come up with the solutions that allow you to build the parts and pieces of your buildings, mostly using math and physics. With the Corps of Engineers, I've been very fortunate and been able to apply my skills in a wide variety of positions, which is something I think is really important for those interested in this career field to understand. Because of that basic engineering knowledge and mastering those skills, I've been able to support the mission in many different ways. I've worked as a private industry structural engineering designer and eventually moved into being able to support the Department of Defense and here in Europe with the Corps of Engineers. I've sat on construction sites and was able to oversee the construction of 2 large schools, for example. I am able to sit with the host nation and discuss our policies with regards to design and construction. I love working internationally. This field is really limitless. It'll take you anywhere you want to go. Right now, I'm located here at Ramstein Air Base, and my focus is on the entire European AOR for Air Force-funded projects. And that's similar to several of our engineers here in the district. They are able to, they may sit in one location, but they serve the whole stakeholder base in Europe. It's very interesting, and I'm happy to support.
Well, I think it's super interesting that just with the level of knowledge that you have in engineering, you can open up so many different opportunities. Sir, I'm curious about you now. What kind of jobs do you have in the military here?
So as an engineer soldier, we have a lot of opportunities. First, we tend to start out as combat engineer, which is commonly referred to as a sapper. They provide mobility, counter-mobility, and survivability to the force. You may start out as a construction engineer providing contingency construction for the warfighter, or you might be a geospatial engineer providing visualization of the land and battlefield in advance of sending troops into unfamiliar terrain. I've served as a combat engineer for both a unit over here in Gießen, Germany. I served as a combat engineer in Washington State at Joint Base Lewis-McChord. And then I transitioned somewhat to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. And only then did I appreciate the true capability and the talents that reside not only in USACE, but the entire engineer regiment.
So for me, sir, that brings up the next point I have. So what kind of opportunities are there for military members in the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers?
We have a lot of opportunities for our active duty folks. We have both combat engineers who come to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, but we also have contract specialists, and they're a special functional area, but they also come, and they come from a wide variety of branches throughout the Army. But as an engineer soldier, we try to get some officers in young at the lieutenant grade before they take company command and get them a little bit of exposure and get them some education within a project office. And we have some lieutenants throughout our footprint. We hope that they come back as captains or junior majors, but in all likelihood, if they decide to stay in, serve, have successful careers, they'll either be back as a lieutenant colonel or as a colonel and hopefully command in these great organizations.
That's super interesting, and there's obviously a ton of opportunities for our active duty members, but now I'm curious about the civilian side of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. What sort of opportunities are there for civilians, ma'am?
I think it's a lot broader than you'd imagine for being a Army Corps of Engineers entity. We employ so many different types of managers and technical positions. We have finance specialists, we have security, we have real estate, project managers and program managers, contracting officials. And, something that's very interesting is that you can use your knowledge in one area and, take that and maybe move into a different position and broaden that knowledge base for them there too. So it's something that, if you're interested in it at all, keep your eyes open. This is something that we can use all sorts of different skills to support the missions here in Europe.
So it sounds like if you have the knowledge, you're going to be able to find a spot somewhere within the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Super interesting stuff. Once again, that was Colonel Pat Dagon, the District Commander for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Europe District, as well as Ms. Jen Regel, the Regional Program Manager for the U.S. Air Force Military Design and Construction Program for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Europe District. Don't go anywhere, though, because coming up after this, we're going to be telling you about some of the things that those of you interested in engineering or any of the career fields within STEM can go to learn a little bit more about it.